The Scottish Football Podcast
from BBC Radio Scotland.
Hello and welcome back to another edition of the Scottish Football Podcast. Before we begin, if you haven't already, do subscribe on BBC Sounds so you never miss a moment, and check out all the other podcasts coming from BBC Sport Scotland while you're at it. Well, last night Scotland left Georgia with a point after coming from behind twice to earn a draw in Tbilisi. Of course, we all know and are thankful that Scotland have already qualified for next summer's Euros. And as Lawrence Shankland said himself, we're all just a wee bit glad that last night was not a pivotal one. Joining me, Amy Canavan, to discuss Shankland's performance, among other things, is former Scotland international Kenny Miller. As cliche as it sounds, it really was a game of two very, very different halves, wasn't it? What do you make of that performance last night from Steve Clarke's side?
I thought we were in control for long spells of the game. You know, we dominated possession. Obviously, we're playing a little bit of a different system last night, but it never really seemed to affect us too much in relation to how the game went. If anything, maybe I just thought the first goal, had we been in our usual system, there might have been that extra body which might have been able to get across and block that cross a little bit. But listen, obviously needs must with the injuries that Steve had to Andy Robertson, Hickey and Kieran Tierney. It kind of allowed them to have a look at a different system. And I thought I thought we dominated pretty well. It allowed us to get another player on the pitch further up, another midfielder or attacking midfielder. So I thought we played pretty well. We lost two disappointing goals. That's what I would say. I think they said, touching on the first one, it might have been easier to defend had we been in our usual shape. And the second one, you've got to get Kvaratskhelia down the outside. You can't be allowing him to come inside and get free shots off through bodies. And obviously Zander was probably a little bit unsighted with that, and it found its way in. But again, we showed good determination. We never panicked. Maybe it was the fact that we're already qualified, that we were able just to get back into our groove, kind of pass the ball about, dominate and wait for the opportunities to come. And we've done it well. Again, we showed good fight and belief to get back into the game twice.
I think almost everyone who our reporter Jane Lewis actually managed to grab last night said along the lines sort of it's important if we're not winning these games and we're not losing these games. What does that really say about the shift in mentality under Steve Clarke?
Well, for this game in particular, I felt it was important that we never lost. When you get an equaliser and an injury time the way we did last night, I'm sure that the team were getting back on the plane in a far more positive note had we lost an equaliser in injury time. So there was definitely a positive feel about the result last night. Like you say, it's the first time we've actually left Tbilisi with anything. So again, that's a positive in itself. Personally, I think we're better than Georgia, home or away. Again, it's never easy to go away and win games. And maybe there was a little bit of I wouldn't say we came off the gas at all. The fact that we're already qualified, I still thought it was quite a strong performance from us. I just think when you lost the three games that we lost, albeit against top international teams, it was important to kind of halt that, like losing momentum. I mean, we've built a lot of winning momentum up over the last couple of years, definitely over the course of this campaign. So it was really important to halt that and to get it in the way we did with that injury time equaliser. It definitely had a positive spin to it. But I think Sunday, it's a real chance for us to get back to winning ways and start rebuilding that winning momentum going into next summer.
The mentality, the momentum, the character, all these words that you're using, crucial to what Steve Clarke has built. We'll hear from him in just a wee minute. It's never about him, never likes it to be about him. It's always about his players. But last night he did hit 50 games in charge of Scotland, 26 wins, 9 draws, 15 defeats. He's now guided Scotland to 2 major tournaments. He's done all right, Kenny, hasn't he?
It's not bad, is it, Amy? It's not bad at all. Even that strike rate in terms of his win percentage, it's excellent. You know, it really is. So he's definitely, I'm going to say steadied the ship initially, and then he's just built on this team for me still on that upward trajectory. I know we're saying that's maybe halted a little bit with these 3 defeats. They were against 3 really good teams, I think we can say, and we can all agree on that. So, and we're going to be facing this level of teams next summer. So he's done wonderful, to end that long wait without a visit to a major final a couple of years ago in the Euros, and now to then back up with another Euros. It's a great achievement for Steve. Again, I know, like you say, he'll put all the credit on his players and how they perform, and rightfully so. They do deserve that, because when the players cross the white line, they have to perform, they have to make good decisions. But Steve's got to take a lot of credit for what he's created, not just on the pitch, but what he's created off it, that kind of feel-good factor about the squad, which, by the way, does come with winning games and qualifying for major tournaments, but he has created this feel. I think that's why there's not been a lot of change within the squad. You know, there is a real familiar feel to most squads. Again, guys like Lewis Ferguson, who earn the spot in the squad, they come into it. Guys like Josh Doig, who again, he's went to Italy and he's performing well. And Kieran Tierney and Andy Robertson's absence, someone has to get an opportunity. So it's another young player, and a young exciting player who's now branched out of his comfort zone, get away from Scotland and going to Italy to try and ply his trade, and doing very well. They earn their spot into the squad, but I'm sure going into the finals next summer, it'll be the exact same. It'll be guys that have been there. They'll definitely be better off for their last visit to the Euros. They're guys that have amassed a lot of international experience over the last kind of 2 or 3 campaigns that'll be on that plane. But there's always room for a surprise. You know, who that surprise will be over the next 6-7 months, who might play their 70 Steve's thinking. Again, this is all the excitement that surrounds around making a major finals.
Absolutely, and it is Steve Clarke who has guided Scotland there, so let's hear from the main man himself.
We think we can do better because we always want to do better, but to say it's an off night would be a little bit harsh on the players. I thought they showed good character, they kept passing the ball, looking to do the right things, and we did create chances in the game. We had a lot of possession, a lot of shots at goal. Maybe we could have been a little bit more clinical at times. We'll put together a little meeting, we'll sit the players down, we'll talk them through what they did well. So what we did well and what we didn't do so well, we'll work on it and look for a win to finish the campaign at home to Norway on Sunday. It's important. We want to finish the campaign well. We want to have a good performance at Hampden. We want to send the Tartan Army home happy, and hopefully we can do that.
As you say, Kenny, Clarke will be beginning to think about who is making the plane to Germany. Are you taking Shankland? What does he offer differently to, let's say, the dead certs of Dykes and Adams? You know, what is it that you really like about him? You know, obviously he has that in his locker, that he's able to come on in just a short period of time, make a difference, salvage a point for Scotland. But the fundamental one, are you taking Lawrence Shankland next summer?
If I was making a call now, then absolutely. I don't think us as a nation have ever had the luxury of not taking a proven goal scorer like Lawrence Shankland on that plane. Again, who am I to try and pick Steve Clarke's squad for him, you know? But again, I can only look at it from what I watch every single week with Lawrence. And by the way, I've watched Lawrence a lot now over the last kind of 4 or 5 seasons. And for me, his game, as each year passes, is developed. He's matured into a really, really good all-round striker. I mean, I think I actually posed a question not directly at him, but when getting asked about Lawrence Shankland at the start of last season, my statement was he was unproven at the top flight in terms of the real goal-scoring touch. Well, he smashed that out of the water last year by getting 24 league goals. I think he got 28 all in. So he is proven now. He is, for me, outside the Kyogo at this moment in time, he's probably the best striker in the league for me. Very surprised that maybe Rangers never had a wee nibble at him in the summer, to be honest with you. But I just think at this moment in time, the goal-scoring touch that he's got, he would be on the plane for me. But like I said, he found himself out of the squad. And this is the things that when you are in a building with a player, or you're working in camps with a player like Steve Clarke and his coaches are, maybe there's something there that has led Steve to leave him out of the squad and go with other guys. Because there's one thing is just a fact. Lawrence Shankland is a more proven goal scorer than anybody else in Scotland's squad. And for what I see on a weekly basis, like I said, he's developed into a really good all-round striker. And I think he's obviously, they all bring something different. For me, Shea Adams, Lyndon Dykes and Lawrence Shankland, in terms of 3 main strikers, they all bring something different. You know, but there's something there that continually gets Steve Clarke to choose the other 2 guys ahead of him. It may be their work rate. It may be their ability to maybe run longer and harder, because it's a thankless task up front sometimes for Scotland. It's not quite the thankless task that maybe I had 2 years ago. But I think there is a lot of good players supporting the striker now, and I think the system that Steve got really, really suits the players that he has at his disposal. So like I said, there's something there that's led Steve to leave him out of this squad. Maybe through a little bit of fortune to an injury, through these types of situations, it presents opportunities for someone, and this was Lawrence's opportunity to say, you know what, I deserve to be in this squad. And he's went on and answered any critics, or even his manager. He's even answered his manager, and maybe the decision to leave him out of the squad initially by coming on and scoring that goal. And the thing about his goal, like I see this a lot in his play week to week, that He's someone that has got really good upper body strength. I think he's displayed that domestically. He displayed it with a goal. But what he's also got, he's got the ability to know the contacts there with the defender, but still keep a really, really calm head and focus on the ball. So whether he's linking up the play, where he's getting pressure for the defender from behind, he's got good strength, but he's also got real calmness in terms of bringing the ball down and bringing others into play. Last night, it was keeping the defender at bay, giving him the little nudge, while still keeping his eye on the ball, his focus on the ball, and able to dispatch the header. I just like him. I really like him as a striker now. I think maybe if you're being critical, maybe he lacks a real electric pace, but no, everybody's got that. It's probably something that maybe the squad's lacking a little bit, to be honest with you. But for me, at this moment in time, there's a lot of football we've played between now and then, and people can lose form, people can pick injuries up. Hopefully Steve Clarke has a full complement of players to pick from next summer. If I was picking the team today, Lawrence Shankland would be on the plane, because, like I said, he's the most natural, proven goal scorer that we've got at our disposal at this moment in time.
Really, absolutely grabbed these opportunities. He made the most of it, so let us hear from Lawrence Shankland now.
We were chasing the game and hoping to get a goal, even an equaliser, to go on and win. Unfortunately for the night, it was just an equaliser, but we managed to get it, and that was important, coming from behind twice. And just grateful to get the goal. It's a difficult place to come, and thankfully enough, we've already qualified, so it wasn't pivotal on what happened in the group. They're a good team, they've got good players, a bit of individual quality obviously gets their 2 goals for them, but as I said, thankfully I was in there at the right moment and got the equaliser, and we can leave here pleased that we got the point.
Right, Kenny, before we wrap up, Steve Clarke doesn't make many changes, as we say. Let's have a wee look forward to Sunday. I know you mentioned it's going to be a bit of a party atmosphere at Hampden, the final farewell really to this magical group really. As we say, he's not one for ringing in the changes, but do you reckon that we can maybe get a wee sighting of Lawrence Shankland from the off?
If Lawrence falls into the category of someone who has to earn this seat on the plane next summer, then he's only going to get to earn that with getting a meaningful game time. So this could be a start on Sunday. I mean, there will be kind of friendlies and a lot of games in prep for the tournament next summer, and I'm no doubt he will get the opportunity there. But after salvaging a point with that injury time equaliser, it might be a good time to give him. He's in great goal scoring form domestically for Hearts. He's came on in what was very limited time towards the end of the game yesterday, and he's managed to again found himself in the right position and got another goal. So it does seem like a good time to say, you know what, okay, can you lead the line rather than just coming on when maybe players are a little bit more tired and they're maybe not quite at the top of their game? Can you maybe go on and lead the line and see what he can bring from the start? Like you say, Steve's not someone, whether it be a friendly or whether it be a qualifier like that is going to be on Sunday that we've already qualified at the end of a campaign. I still think he'll want to win this. He'll want to get back to winning ways. I don't think there's any doubt about that. It was a positive point and it was a good end to the game last night, but he'll want to get back to winning ways. There's no way he's going to want to be going into next summer with maybe 8 games and the form's been 2 wins and 4 losses and a couple of draws. He'll be wanting to kind of striding into the finals next year, not kind of stumbling into them. So I can't see him making too many changes. Lyndon Dykes has got the jersey at the moment. I think everybody knows that. So whether he starts the game on Sunday or whether Lawrence was to start the game or someone else was to start the game, it doesn't detract away from the fact that Lyndon Dykes is probably the number 1 choice at this moment in time for Steve Clarke. But I just think with what Lawrence, the abilities that he's got and all the kind of boxes that he can tick, getting a run out for the start on Sunday would be beneficial, I think, definitely for him, but also for Steve and his staff to actually see, you know what, can he go in there for the start and lead this line? Can he link up with his teammates as well as what other strikers have over this campaign and previous campaigns? Because at this moment in time, obviously, game time has been really limited for Lawrence in the international setup. And you know what? There is reasons probably behind that. But after Thursday, I think maybe now would be a good time to throw him in for the start.
Well, Lawrence Shankland lead the line on Sunday then. There's your title of the podcast. A pleasure as always, Kenny. Thank you very much. And as I said at the top of the podcast, do subscribe on BBC Sounds so you never miss a moment. Take care and enjoy your weekend.
The Scottish Football Podcast
from BBC Radio Scotland.